Talktainment Radio Worldwide Sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Are you ready to earn a certification in healthcare, business, or manufacturing while achieving your high school diploma? Then you're ready for Life Skills High School, a free public school option for Ohio students.
Fue Sete Rastaman.
Welcome to TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go, the world's greatest radio, and you're in touch with Wiggins, World of Wellness. And I'm Stacy Wiggins, and this is the way radio should be heard. Thanks for joining us today. Got a great topic and some product reviews, something that I'm sure you'll find very valuable, possibly if you take use of it, really valuable. But today, the topic I want to cover is it's going to be a free report. This is how I'm going to start funneling people in to my website to become more aware of, hey, what can I do to solve this chronic issue I have in my neck or my shoulder or my low back? It doesn't matter what kind of pain you have. It all kind of stems from many similar things. So today we're going to cover my free report on the reasons behind chronic pain. Now, when I wrote this out, I was somewhat small print in my writing, so I'm going to need a little assistance here with my glasses so I can discuss with you. Now, this is my opinion. This is my, let me give you a little backdrop on this. This is 30 years of my professional work as a body worker, as a massage therapist. 20 years of my professional work as being an alpha bioticist, someone who balances the left and right brain hemisphere. So I bring this up to tell you that I got a little experience in this. I've been tight. I know how to get tight, but I also have been loose and know how to stay loose, relaxed, flexible. So I'm sure that's going to be quite desirable for some of you out there to want to know, well, how did he do it? And how did he stay for 20 years long? Did I mention this, the 20 years of alpha biotics, but 20 years long pain-free. Now, what do I mean pain-free? I mean without chronic issues, without a chronic low back ache, without a chronic neck, shoulder, rotator cuff, hip impingement, whatever, foot, what is that foot problem called? It'll come to me. I'm talking without pain. Now, sure, I've experienced pain, and I would experience pain, say, from injury, accident, or working out too hard, but that would be very, well, that's what we call acute pain, very short-term pain, 1 day, 2 days, maybe a week. Great, for instance, this past Saturday in my ball class, which I'll show you a couple of pictures here later on. But in my ball class, we did a calf raise on a Bosu. Now, Bosu is a half a ball that has a flat platform on it, and when you step to the back of the Bosu, your heels are in the air. So it allows you to get much more leverage as you lower your heels and raise your heels. So that already is a good challenge. But we added more of a challenge to it by bringing out the big ball, putting our hands down, which kind of bends you over so your back is kind of parallel or straight to the floor, and your hands are down and your legs are straight. This is where the rest of the class kind of didn't follow all the way through. They had bent knees, which allows you to do this work a little more easier or not get as great results. So I kept my legs straight, and while I was doing the calf raises, I went up and down several times, toes pointed in, toes pointed out, so you're getting every outside muscle, inside muscle, back of the calf muscle. You're getting all angles. You're not just doing a calf raise. And that, along with many other exercises, end of the day, boom, that was a great great workout. Everybody loved it. By Monday, when I teach spinning, I teach a spinning class as well. my calves were shouting and yelling. It's like, oh man, what did I do? And then it's like, that's right, I did all those calf raises on the Bosu. And so some of my classmates also take my spinning class. I asked them, hey, how's your calves? And he's yelling and screaming. They're like, no, I'm pretty good, Stace. Like, what's up with you? And pretty much that is the type of pain I'm talking about. Pain that will persist 3-4 days after a really hard workout, or you're spent. Seeing how it's in February and we just had a great snow, about 4 or 5 inches. I shoveled out 3 different areas, 2 different homes and 3 different areas kind of thing. So that could make a person hurt for several days. Well, that's the kind of pain I'm talking about that I may anticipate or may get in my life. But in the past 20 years, I have not had a chronic pain that I go to bed with, wake up with, and just suffer with. And thus having the quality of my life lessened because of this chronic pain. That's the kind of pain I'm talking about. I've been without. So let me get back to my small print here. So free report reveals the reasons behind chronic pain. These are the reasons that I've accumulated over the years of my own personal endeavors and, of course, working on thousands and thousands of clients. These clients range from, your typical mom and pop or your couch potato, as well as all the way to Olympic level competitors, people who are either professional basketball players, professional hockey, just professional athletes I've worked with. And all of this work, all of this time has brought me to some of these conclusions that I'm going to share with you today, and hopefully help you on your way to a pain-free existence, because there's way more to life than just living pain-free. Now, I know that sounds kind of weird and kind of crazy. If you've been in pain all your life, all you want to do is get out of pain. Well, forget about the rest. But no, pain is just a mere simple signal. It's an indicator that your life is not in balance. Your life is not recovering as fast as you are insulting it. Okay? You know what I mean? If you're highly invested in the insult and the demise of your body, then your recovery is never complete. And what I call a complete recovery is being pain-free, being a bounce in your step, a great attitude. You wake up in the morning refreshed, ready to go, not, oh God, let me get some coffee or some stimulants so I can get my day started because I'm tired. No, we're talking about optimal living. We're talking about wellness. Wellness is much different from sick care. All right, back to this article here. Is it our lifestyle and attitudes somehow influencing our experience of chronic pain? Absolutely. We have destroyed our earth. We have destroyed our air. We have destroyed our water. And we also, along the way, have destroyed our own bodies, And if we hadn't, you'd see everyone really flourishing and feeling great every day. And this is based upon our old world views. Just getting old, I can't raise my arm anymore. I'm not going to worry about trying to raise it anymore. It's just a symptom of getting old. No, it isn't. It's a symptom of being too toxic, too tight, and undernourished. It is that simple, but I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so therefore, in order to evolve from our current crises, first upon anything, you must realize that we are architects of our own experience. What do I mean by that? We are architects of our own experience. We have helped created who we are, where we are at this point in time. Thanks, Mom and Dad. They provided a whole lot of help, a whole lot. But at some point in time, you're going to take life upon your own, take your own responsibility for your own actions, for your own inactions. Because cause and effect is a very dynamic equation that we want to be constantly aware of. If you don't like the effects, maybe you might want to study the causes and stop trying to put makeup on the pig on the effects. Stop trying to beautify the effects that you don't like in the first place. The change doesn't occur here. The change occurs in your cause. Therefore, your thinking. Okay? So in order to evolve from our current crisis and crises, we must realize that we are architects of our own experience and thus have the power within to make these changes. You're not going to get these changes made at the doctor's office. You're not going to get these changes made from a pharmaceutical pill. These changes have to come from your decision-making process. It comes from within. It comes from your desires. And the more powerful your desire, the more apt these changes will occur. But if you're just casual about it, then you're not going to get much of a change from that. So this power that we have to make changes is directly dependent upon your knowledge of yourself and your belief systems. So here's what I mean. If you had a great knowledge, a great understanding of how your body works, how it functions, the needs it has, oh, I need to feed it this way, I need to rest it this way, I need to exercise this way, then you would not be probably in the situation that you are in, which is probably in some ill at ease state. We can call it a disease state or just chronically overly stressed, chronically tight. It is a disconnection that we have with our own body, with our own mind-body experience. So in order to make any kind of change, you really need to make this study on yourself, the study of yourself and your belief systems. How did you acquire these belief systems? Were they handed down from your parents? Were they handed down from your grandparents? Or did you acquire them on your own? Were they handed over to you from TV maybe, or from print ads? It's really, really important, and it's really revealing when you start to look into your own belief systems and you ask a simple question, where did I get that from? What gave me that impetus, that thought form to make this a belief? As in, maybe I don't believe better, or I don't believe that I deserve better. I don't believe that I'm worth it. Simply, that I'm worth the effort, that I'm worth the time. Ooh, organic is so expensive. Well, health is priceless. All right, where are we here? The power we have to make changes that are directly dependent on the knowledge that you have yourself and your belief systems. It's all about a belief system, because if you do not have a belief system that would support you in doing more and different things, you're not going to get anywhere. It starts there. For many of us, the way we have been living is totally antagonistic to life. All right, now that's kind of an accusational, stabbing sentence, but it's true. For many of us, the way we have been living has been totally antagonistic to life in itself, to nature. Now, nature doesn't have a care, it doesn't have an ego, it doesn't have an attitude. Nature's primary existence is to exist, is to next generation. What are we going to do? How do we get to next generation? It doesn't matter what the format looks like, if it looks ugly, if it looks great. Nature doesn't worry about the looks. Nature is about next generation. So the next generation that we have within ourselves is actually moment by moment. And what do you mean by that? You are constructing, just living here, breathing here right now, you're constructing your next future. You are so busy making cells that it would blow your mind if you really stopped to think that over, 86 million cells per second are being produced in your body throughout your head to your toe. Cells are being born, cells are dying off. Now, what the new cells are getting determines whether you're getting healthy or you're getting unhealthy. So it's all about, how are we living? How's the balance in our life? Are we living life in a manner that you're treating yourself well enough to get the great results that can become of it? Or are you treating yourself in a manner that's destructive, deconstructive, and not allowing your full potential to even see the light of day, not even crack the door open a little bit and see, oh, there's daylight, okay? So we're living antagonistic to our life, and we need to figure out, okay, how am I going to do this? Stacy, I can't throw away all my toys. I still got a cell phone I need to have. Well, I'm not asking you to, but just to examine your own life and start to begin to see how these changes can be made, because the changes must be made. All right, so the new belief system is going to allow you to make these changes, and they are required before you can make any changes. So your next step is your first step, and your first step is in between your ears. Okay? You got to get a little airspace in here. You need to open it up for some new ideas, for new changes. So how do we get tight? To get back to our free report on reveals how the reasons behind chronic pain, instead of trying to figure things out at the tail end of it, of the effect, you need to come over to the cause side. The causes of, well, how do we get tight? How did I end up having this massive shoulder tightness that is inhibiting me from range of motion, freedom, being able to lift up a suitcase or whatever, or my grandchild? How do we get here? And how do we create this chronic tension? What goes into the making of chronic tension? In order to eliminate something, you better figure out how you got it first. And this is where we're at. So how are we affected by chronic tension? Well, I think we all know that when we're tight, we're in pain. And maybe it's not a stabbing pain. It could be a numb pain. It could be just a dullness. It could be a cold feeling in the arm. Pain has over 27 different ways of being represented. So some of us are waiting for the big pain. Don't wait. Be aware, be sensitive, be conscious of the small pains. I always say you'd much rather hear God whisper in your ear than God yell in your ear. Or the old 2x4 over the head. How do you want to be woken up? Gently or with a concussion? How do we get tight? It's our culture. It starts with culturally. You know, what do you mean? We're used to everyone else getting tight, and it's just one of those things. People don't breathe deeply. If you're hanging around a bunch of people who are panting and talking very quickly, which I'm doing right now, but I got a whole lot on my mind, and you'll find me breathing deeply as well. But if you hang around a group of people that are constantly chronically tense, you take on some of those characteristics. Some of those characteristics are lack of breathing, shallow breathing, looking for the next issue to be a problem. In other words, drama makers, drama kings and drama queens, and not observing life and taking it in as it comes. Always reactive, always responsive. So how do we get tight? Is it our food? Is it our diet? Absolutely. That's like ding, 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 probably number one for us, at least here in America. Maybe outside where there's more third world populations and third world food poverty, the food is probably not as big as an impact to our chronic tension as some other cases and the other environmental situations they have to deal with. But here, talking for well, beyond the United States, because this is the world of wellness. But talking to the countries that are developed to the point now where we're sitting down a whole lot, developed to the point where we're not moving as much for what we used to do. I mean, our food's made for us, our toothbrushes are actually electric, so we're not doing much as we get more, quote, culturalized and civilized and high advanced technology. Don't hate it all, but I just like to point out that it does have a downside, a dark side. The food aspect. This gets into one full category of acid alkaline. We'll catch that on the other side of the half hour because it's going to really involve a lot of explanation, some knowledge. So we have food, we have acid alkaline. Well, how else do we get chronically tight? What do we do most of the day? Last podcast, you may have remembered if you listened in, I was studying about stillness, sitting down, long-term effects of being in a, well, I call it a stress position, which is simply sitting in a seat that's and not much movement. You're stressing yourself in that way. And the lady that I was gathering information from, Joan, I can't remember her last name, but she's a scientist that worked with NASA. She worked with John Glenn when he went up on his 72-year-old flight. When he was at 72 years old, he went up in space again. And she said one of the most profound things that I think certainly affected my life, but will affect most everyone else's who say, well, I do work out. I hit the gym, Stacey, or I have a program. And she said simply this, in summation, that if you are working out somewhere between 3 to 5 times a week, and you go to the gym, it's dedicated hour or whatever, you hit your spinning, Pilates class, yoga class, whatever, but yet you go back to your job and sit for about 8 hours a day without much getting up and getting down, the working out that you did really isn't going to offset the sitting that you are doing. She said, however, on the other side, if you have an 8-hour, 9, 10-hour job, because now more than ever, we're sitting more. And she said in between that time from the start of your day to the end of the day, if you've gotten up 36 times, a minimum of 36, I believe she said, times, that you would be far ahead in your health, in your body's mechanics, in your bio ability to just feel freedom of movement. You'd be further ahead than going to the gym 3 to 5 times a week and working out and sweating bullets and all that kind of stuff. Simply because the lack of movement. If you're moving throughout the day, you're getting it licked. But if you are tied to a seat, at a computer, at a monitor, teachers teach, that creates several problems. So that, for us, is a huge ding, 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 ding. This is what helps create chronic tension. Okay, so to answer these questions, chronic tension also, it's a forerunner to stagnation. Stagnation, lack of flow. No flow, no go. I remember as children, there's a stream that was at the end of our block. We'd always play in the water and, throw in sticks and pretend there are boats and have boat races going down the way. And every once in a while, there's an area of water that we would notice and we'd see, and it was stagnant. It did not move. It was maybe off from the side of the stream. And in this stagnant water, it was smelly, it was yucky, it was murky, it was, fair to say, a diseased state of water compared to the rushing stream that was clean and bubbling and had plenty of water. So stagnation inside of us is very much the similar occurrence. When you have a lack of flow, a lack of blood coming to an area and taking things away from an area, you're creating stagnation. And just the same as in that little stream example, when things slow down, they begin to get funky, they begin to get smelly, things become unhealthy. So in our bodies, we create what I call this stagnation, this stagnant state, and it's addressed by, acupuncture. Acupuncture, one of its greatest claims is to increase chi, increase energy, increase prana. And that could be blood flow, electrical flow, or just as we here in the Westerns, we always want to put some kind of label to what kind of flow it is. Life's flow, life's energetic flow going through us, which can't be measured in an electrical sense. It can't be measured just in the blood sense. What's in your blood? Not enough there. No. Life force energy is unmeasurable. Okay? But we can lessen it, squeeze it off, and actually deny ourselves from it totally and thus kill ourselves. So life force energy, it's in the air, it's in the water, it's all around us. But it's how we go about dealing with it, whether we are being helped by it or we're kind of just being ignored by it. Okay, so I oftentimes say no flow, no go. That also is an immediate reference to many of the ED pills, erectile dysfunction pills that we're dealing with today. If you have no flow, you have no go, or a little flow, little go. And instead of trying to focus on just the, I'd love to have better sex, if you increased your health, better sex is it just happens. It's just one of those side benefits. So let's get back to being tight, because tight ain't right. Tight hurts you, man. I've been there. So chronic tension, optimal reside in the mind. Okay. Most every disease process, this is what I wanted to really drill in about this stagnation. Most every disease process involves a decrease of flow of energy, a decrease of flow of blood. If it's a cancer, if it's a diabetes, it doesn't matter. Even if it's a tight sore foot, there's a decrease of flow of energy going on. So, where am I? Okay. To answer these questions, I'm going to point out to you how many different ways you are slowly killing yourself. So I then go about writing off a list, if I'm working with an individual, of these are possibly the things that you're doing, not possibly, they probably are, that are to your demise. And we get out this chart, all the things that I do to heal myself, and then on the right side, all the things that I do to kill myself. This is one of the most revealing exercises that anyone could ever do. And I help them because you don't oftentimes know that you're killing yourselves. You don't oftentimes know that some of the foods or some of the environments that you place your mind and body in are actually very detrimental. So it's kind of hard for you to say, all right, these are things that are killing myself, when you're not aware of all the things that are killing yourself. So this chart alone is, one, very depressing. It just like, oh my God, I had no idea I was so out of balance on the side of causative factors of killing myself, and so light on the causative factors of healing myself. Do you get that? Cause, effect is what you want. Very interesting. So the way you are slowly killing yourself has everything to do with how you're going to reverse this chronic, tight tension state that you've been locked into for years and years and years, and reverse it and get out of that mental state, physical state, and spiritual state of being chronically tight. I know it's a big topic. It's a lot to cover. But by helping you to see just how deeply you're invested in your own demise, in your own belief systems, in your own habits, in your own routines. Well, I always do that. I come home, I sit down, and I do a beer or this or that, or I get on the computer and raise my shoulders up. These are routines that we're used to and we have brought into our lives, and we think that, oh, this is the way it should be. And no, this is what's adding to your chronic tension. So the routines, your postures, and this is actually the big part we're talking about, the toxic exposures / alkaline acidic lifestyle. Like I said, we'll get to that alkaline acidic lifestyle on the other side because it's going to be a lot. So in order to make these positive changes and or reduce or completely eliminate chronic tension, we must look at the classic ways we accumulate tension or incur or manifest it. And here are some of the classic ways. Injury. We've all been injured. We've had car wrecks, we've fallen out of trees, bike wrecks, skateboarding wrecks, or just simply fall around our house. We missed a step. Injuries are one of the most popular things that lead to chronic tension. What do you mean? I went to PT. I went to physical therapy afterwards. Well, good that you did. However, most all PT falls short of you getting back to that optimal level, if you ever were, or beyond your crises that you had, to a better place. So what I mean is PT is helpful, but it's not the end all. It's not the be all of you eliminating chronic tension, of you eliminating this injury that now has a memory in your body. And that's a big component too. We call it muscle memory. And the more you go about describing that injury, that accident, oh, we had a car wreck and it folded over 3 times and it was horrible and we had to go to the hospital and yada, yada, yada. You're reliving that injury. You're reminding those cells of the trauma. Oh, better stay tight. We got trauma. Better hold our breath. We got trauma. Okay? Chronic situations in our mind create chronic tension in our body. You can't separate the two. All right, so injuries is the first one. Injuries without full recovery, okay? Then, like I said, next half hour, acid lifestyle, the pH lifestyle. All right, we covered some of the postural stress, no movement, staying or reading in a book in bed, just jamming your shoulder up. And food. We talked a little bit about that, but it has great impact. Like, who drinks coffee? Coffee is hideous when it comes to your flexibility. Coffee creates tension. Coffee, chronic tension, CCC. And of course the toxins about it. Now we all know that we're supposed to stretch, and we all know that we should stretch, but do we? Do we really stretch? No, we don't. And flexibility is key to you being healthy. It's key to you being pain-free. So flexibility is also something we're going to cover on the other half hour here because we got a lot to cover. And last but not least is the environment. Are you cold? Are you keeping yourself from being relaxed? Are you wearing enough clothes? Is your room warm enough? If you're cold, You're keeping things tight. You're shutting off that flow of energy. So look at these environmental toxins that you're exposed to, the environment that you're into, and we're going to help break this all down, because we are going to make this happen. Because also I want to celebrate with you all this 30 years of knowledge. It does me no good when I know what to do, but it does you much better when you know what to do. I'm good here. All I want is for you to be great. Here at TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go. Check us out on 94.1 WGRN. Podcasts are available. Download TalkTainmentRadio.com app to your cell or tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. Stay right there. More up on Wiggins' World of Wellness and some secret tips on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
Are you ready to earn a certification in healthcare, business, or manufacturing while achieving your high school diploma? Then you're ready for Life Skills High School, a free public school option for Ohio students 16 to 21 years old. Learn more about your free high school educational options at lifeskillshs.org.
For the best home fragrance and beauty products, shop Ash Kickin online.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Made with 100% natural quality ingredients and handcrafted with your family in mind, Ash Kickin products are better than those other guys. Ash Kickin candles, incense, body butter, face moisturizer, and hair moisturizer are priced just right, and you can get yours at 10% off with coupon code TALK17. Support this 100% black-owned business and get your home and body smelling and feeling all right.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Shop Ash Kickin online at www.ashkickin.com.
Queen's Legacy of Love 12 brand launch and grand opening. Currently looking for hosts, photographers, models, dancers, entertainers, ushers, comedians, production managers, model coordinators, stage crew, vendors, volunteers, sponsors, public relations and media personnel, and extras. Contact ggoldqqueen22@yahoo.com.
Queens of Queens.
Stand by for an important announcement.
Mortgage interest rates are the lowest in history. Did you hear that? Mortgage interest rates are the lowest in history. You can buy a home from Lenco Realty for less than rent. For details, call 614-375-2BUY. That's 614-375-2289. Or log on to repohomelist.com. That's repohomelist.com and claim your American dream.
This is Al Edmondson, owner of a Cutter Brother Rest Barbershop. I'm calling on all barbers and beauticians. It's time for us to unite as one. We can serve our communities better together. Join the Ohio Black Barber Beauty Network. For more information, visit www.obbn.org or call 614-427-3226 to get more information. Be the change that you want to see in your community. Join our network.
See that cute little dog in the pet store? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppies to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. But with one simple choice, you can help, just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Think fast. In less than 30 seconds, a small flame can become a big fire. Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and keep heaters 3 feet away from anything that can burn. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
I've got the water, energy bars, and camera. I think we're set for the hike.
Almost. We need to protect our skin. Don't forget your wide-brimmed hat and sunscreen.
All right. I've got the hat. I've got SPF 30. Will that work?
Yeah, anything 15 or higher is good. Just make sure it says broad spectrum.
Great. Got it. I am not getting burned again. Let's go.
Learn more at cdc.gov/cancer. Every year, June marks the beginning of two busy seasons, summer and wedding season. If you are legally changing your name, you need to apply for a replacement Social Security card reflecting your new name. This is easier to fix now when you first change your name than years from now when you retire. So go to our website at www.socialsecurity.gov/SS number or call us at 1-800-772-1213, TTY 1-800-325-0778 to find out what specific documents you need to change your name and apply for a replacement card.
If you or someone you know is abusing drugs and or alcohol and want to stop the abuse, contact APDS at 1409 East Livingston Avenue. Office hours are 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. APDS is certified by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and primarily funded through the Adam H. Board. Fees are based on your income and Medicaid is always accepted. For more information, call 614-253-4448.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTamitRadio.com.
TalkTamitRadio.com. We go where you go. TalkTamitRadio.com app to your cell or tablet. That's download it. Download TalkTamitRadio.com app to your cell or tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. And this is Stacey Wiggins on Wiggins World of Wellness. And let me reintroduce you to the topic today. It's a great topic, and it's all about chronic tension. It's like a free report, and I need to get to finish up this free report of why we are so chronically tight, why we're in pain. I mean, the whole world's in pain, it seems like. You look as you travel, you turn on TV, there's not a whole lot of joyful, pain-free people that you're seeing out here. Well, I'm one of them. And, you know, I don't make a big to-do about it. I don't go, woohoo, look at me. You know, it's just not my character. It's not my nature. But one thing I do have tons of fun at and do kind of let myself go is when I teach my ball class. And we'll have a couple of those pictures come up here and to show you some of the things that we do to help create a flexible body, free of chronic tension. And actually, everyone in my class is aging more gracefully. It's fair to say that as they are getting older, they are becoming more flexible. Did you hear that? As they are getting older, they're not shrinking. They're not getting, half an inch or 3/4 of an inch missing from their height as they've aged and pretty much imploded on themselves. They are standing taller, breathing deeper, all because of the exercises that we do, which are very much spinal decompressive, joint decompressive, and muscle elongation. It's not about how big a muscle can be, how tight a muscle can be. It's how flexible can this muscle be. Because without flexibility, you don't have strength, you don't have coordination, you don't have recovery, you just have a tight mess. So here's a great picture right here. I'm in my office, and I'm demonstrating to one of my clients, pretty much every one of my clients has a tight rib cage. And I hate to use the word rib cage because cage is kind of like constrictive, but I like to use the word rib cage because that's exactly what it is. It should be a diaphragm. That's what our chest area, our rib area is. It's a diaphragm. Dia is two. Fram is being able to move open and close. Well, when your ribs are in a cage-like manner, when they're tight, there ain't a whole lot of opening, not a whole lot of closing. So when it becomes important to breathe in deeply, because it always is, you can't. But in this picture here, the way that I am laying over the edge of the ball and opening up my rib cage and then having you breathe in deep, oh my God, it's wonderful. Actually, it gets you kind of high because your head's below your body, so you're getting much more increase in the oxygen to your head while you're opening up your rib cage. So that's just one of the basic stretches that we do pretty much every class, and I show pretty much every client. Let's see if we got another picture here. Oh, I love this picture. Most all of us spend all day long holding onto a steering wheel, holding on to a computer, just keeping our arms tight in front of us. So when it comes time to opening up or having your arms just become more than past your chest, your shoulders, most everyone is very, very tight. So here's one of my students, and this gentleman, I mean, he's I think he's in the mid-50s or 60s. He's not a young spring chicken, yet this stretch is a young spring chicken stretch. And it's lovely because when you get in that position and you take a deep breath in, you now open up the front of your chest. And most everyone has a very tight clavicle, the first, second, and third ribs, which are just right underneath your clavicle. They don't even move because we're so tight and we keep things held so tense. And yet, when you open them up and breathe in deeply, it's like, whoa, I got so much more oxygen. You get lightheaded. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what other pictures we got from our class here. Now, I teach this at one location at Columbus Sports Connection, which is in Clintonville, directly across the street from one of my favorite restaurants, North Star. North Star kind of has a very, very delicious way of having beet burger, a natural burger. I also like their fresh farm-raised beef burger as well. It's super fantastic. Okay, this is a picture of me. And this is demonstrating actually several things. One, flexibility, okay? To be able to bend down and to have your head go to your knees or between your knees, that is pretty darn flexible. However, when you are balancing, not on just one ball, but on two balls, that requires a whole lot of neurological compatibility, a whole lot of neurological communication of, okay, you relax, yeah, keep balance, but relax, stretch out those muscles. Oh, keep balance, because every time you are looking to keep balance, you tighten up muscles. So this particular stretch really puts your brain at its maximum effort and capacity. Okay, what am I doing? How do I keep balance and stretching and breathing? So you just don't come out of the box and do a stretch like this. This has taken me years to become, one, flexible. It's taken me years to become, there's not a whole lot of core strength going on in this one, but to become stability, to have the ability to not only have my hips be stable and react and respond, but also have my legs independently moving to my hips. Kids love these exercises because it challenges them and they think, oh, I can't do it. There's no way I can do it. And 5 minutes later, they're doing, hey, look, I can do this. What do you got next? And so that is one of the most awesome ways of boosting a person's self-esteem, is just knowing that they can accomplish something that they put in their minds impossible, 5 minutes later doing it possible. So I love teaching this to all levels, young kids, young adults, and of course the older population as well, because it's the older population that we over the years have really accumulated this chronic tension, this tightness, this acid lifestyle. So let me get into this acid lifestyle I keep on referring to. It is, in my mind, it's like, is it more important than being out of balance or just as important as being out of balance? And it's like, well, they're both, because you have an alkaline acidity, and we're talking about a balance there, but I'm also referring to the balance from alpha biotics, the left-right brain hemisphere balance. If, in fact, you are balanced from the left and the right brain hemisphere, your body is so much more relaxed, so much more flexible, and even. Oftentimes you'll notice a person maybe in the gym or doing some type of physical task where one arm is pretty strong but the other arm's kind of trembling. Or sometimes you'll notice where their shoulder is higher on one side than the other side. Well, these are direct indications of you being out of balance. And this imbalance affects you mentally, it affects you physically. This is what we're trying to work on, is chronic tension. Yet, just as important, maybe even more importantly, it affects you in a spiritual, emotional way. So if you're continuously leading a life being out of balance, it is really hard to get to this optimal level that we're talking about. Really hard. Not impossible, but really hard. Now, here's another picture, one of my favorite students. This is Mike. Now, he's demonstrating something that when people look at this, they're like, oh my God, they put their hand to their mouth, there's like no way, and he's going to break himself. Well, believe me, he is not going to break himself. He is well apt at doing a 2 big ball. I don't have another picture of him doing 2 small medicine balls, but he can do both. He can do the splits on 2 big balls, and he can do the splits on 2 medicine balls. Now, this one like the stretch before with me on the balls, involves even more strength, flexibility, and that mind-body connection. But this one also involves some more core. You have to find it within your muscle structure, within your body, how to allow your legs to relax and how to keep your body stiff, not tight, but just stiff, yet while breathing. And so this is not his first day at the rodeo either. And Mike has been probably one of my longest standing students. And he does phenomenal work. He actually pushes me. I go in with some ideas, and Mike and some other of my guys, they're like, oh, that's a great idea, but did you think about this? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And so we become much more creative in our class. We just don't do the same basic workout, the same routine. Oh my goodness, I could never do that in a class. And I also take account of who is in the class. Maybe they need something not like that 2-ball splits, but something more relaxing, more stretching. Or I have some other people who are triathloners, marathoners, and really, high achieving athletes, and they want the other end of the spectrum, which may be split jumps. No, I'm sorry, not split jumps, but jump lunges on 2 BOSUs, which is one of the most cardiovascular, neurological demanding of your biggest muscles, your hips, your hamstrings, and your quads, that doing that particular exercise will max you out very fast. And so it's a great one of maybe 6 exercises we choose to use when we do a HIT, a high intensity training or high intensity workout. So what I'm saying is this ball class is able to really take a person from whatever condition, whatever injuries, whatever restrictions they may have, to an athlete who is looking to really fine-tune their game or to increase some core strength or recover from an injury or that kind of thing. So this chronic tension thing goes way beyond. Once you're out of pain, it frees you up to become way more apt at life or even carrying your grandchild. Now, this is a perfect massage tool. Recently, I bought this, and I'm at Whole Foods, and I held this up, and I bought it. It was on sale. I'm thinking, what the heck? I need to get it. Took it home, started working on it, and I found out that it's better than the medicine ball that I've been working on. And I've been using medicine balls for, gee whiz, 20 years maybe. It's part of my routine that keeps my body supple, keeps my muscles relaxed. If I get tight, people say, who works on you? Who's your massage therapist? I'm like, these medicine balls. Now, this is the next massage therapist. This orange peanut, oh, it's phenomenal. It works in the back of your neck real good, your IT band, your hip. We could do a whole class on that in itself. But let me get to this list of acid symptoms, because if I can get anyone, it doesn't matter young, old, what your history has been, if I can get you from your chronic acidic lifestyle to an alkaline state, I've already won the game. I've knocked it out the park. We haven't even started to stretch, and you're going to feel so much better. Diseases drop off the charts when you raise your pH up. Now, so here's the beginning symptoms of having acidic lifestyle. Excuse me here. Beginning symptoms: acne, agitation, muscular pain. Got a little something in the throat. Cold hands and feet, dizziness, low energy, joint pain, pain that travels, food allergies. Okay, chemical sensitivities to odors, gas and heat, hyperactivity, panic attacks, premenstrual and menstrual cramping, lack of sex drive. How about loss of voice? Okay, let's find it. Heartburn, diarrhea, constipation, strong smelling urine, mild headaches, rapid heartbeat. I've had that several times. White coated tongue, hard to get up in the morning, excessive head mucus, always blowing your nose, having a little case of what I'm having right now, and metallic taste in the mouth. Those are just the beginning symptoms. Now, something you may be more familiar with are some intermediate symptoms, maybe some secondary symptoms. Cold sores, depression, loss of memory, loss of concentration, migraine headaches, insomnia, disturbance in smell, taste, vision, hearing, asthma, bronchitis, hay fever, earaches, hives, swelling, viral infections, cold and flu, bacterial infections, staph and strep, fungal infections, athlete's foot, impotence, cystics or cystitis, urinary infections, gastritis, colitis, excessive falling hair, psoriasis, endometriosis, stuttering, numbness, tingling, sinusitis. Now, advanced symptoms of chronic acid lifestyle. Here's some of the advanced symptoms. If you lived life in an acidic way, an acidic style for a long time, here's what you might recognize as advanced symptoms. Crohn's disease, schizophrenia, learning disabled, Hodgkin's disease, systemic lupus, endometriosis, multiple sclerosis, sarcoidosis, rheumatoid arthritis. Who has rheumatoid arthritis? These are advanced symptoms. Leukemia, tuberculosis, and all other forms of cancer. Okay? That is an acidic lifestyle. That's a list of what happens when you live an acidic lifestyle. So can you not see how important that is to become alkaline? When you become alkaline, that list that I just read you drops to zero or few. It really does. Now let's see here. We had a picture up here. Oh man. I brought these in. I have been doing a thing that's called ear candling for over 25 years. I've ear candled my mom, my dad, sisters and brothers, all my family members, no pets. But I've had to have ear candled thousands of people in these past 20 years. And the ear candles that I've used, they're all pretty much the same, from the same company. They were half the size of what you see here. These candles are about 4 inches longer and twice the size of the regular candles. And I'm sorry I didn't bring a pair of the smaller ones, because I threw them away after, like, these are it. Forget those. On this plate, I like this big dinner plate. This is what I drew out of my ears. It's what came out of my head by burning these candles. So if you've never heard of an ear candle before, well, let me open it up here for you. It's been believed that the ancient, either Mayans, the ancient Egyptians, let's just say, fair to say, some ancient culture discovered that putting fire to your ear helps draw things out. No, this is a hollow candle, and you can easily put a finger down there, and it's hollow all the way down to a small opening, and this small opening goes into your ear. Now, of course, I'm not recommending anyone do this, and check with your medical provider or your health practitioner, because I've done this for many, many years. I can now do it on myself. Now, I'm not advising you to do that. So what I did was I laid down a mirror on the floor, laid a pillow down, a little tub of water and a candle and some scissors, and you just watch yourself in the mirror as a candle burns down. So there's a black line here and a red line there. And what I normally do is I allow this candle to burn down maybe almost to the black line, put it out in water, clip off the end, and then there's a poker in here, or you can clean it out yourself. So what I cleaned out, and you see on this plate, is there's a little more wax on the right side, which represents my right ear, and the left side is a lot more of that white yellowish powder. What is that white yellowish powder? It's gross is what it is, but it's what's inside our heads. It's what we call yeast, candida. I noticed that as soon as I finished that, one, my hearing was a lot more complete. You could just feel your hearing as opposed to just hear. My head was much, much lighter, and it makes sense when that stuff comes out of your head. It's going to be floating on your shoulders. Yet, because we're in the middle of February and everybody's fighting colds and flus and sinuses, I was really able to get my sinuses open. And that's the amazing thing. We have sinuses located throughout our whole cranium. And I didn't know that. Not until the day that I saw a transactional cut, where the skull is cut this way, and you look down, and if you look down along the bone, your skull, you can see these small little holes. And these small little holes are the sinus cavities that go throughout your whole head. Because if your head was thick bone with no holes in it, it would be so much heavier than what it is. And believe me, it's heavy enough as it is. So you have sinuses from the back of your head, top of your head, around your ears, and of course you know these because you feel them. You got sinuses in the front of your face. When you go about taking all that mess that was in your ears out, it's like a great reduction of pressure, a great reduction of crap that was in your sinuses, and you hear better. You actually see a little more clearly, and you smell more deeply. Just everything works clearer because your sinuses are cleaned out, or I should say more cleaned out. So I'm very excited about it because in the past I was getting half the amount of that gunk that you saw out. But since using these new candles, not just myself, I've worked with a couple different clients, a couple friends, no pets yet, and what I drew out of their ears flat out amazed them, and it astonished me too. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 20 years, so I've seen a lot of gunk. I've seen a lot of stuff come out of ears. I've seen just like wax come out of ears, but never have I seen the amount of stuff, the carnage that came out of my head. So wow, it was quite impressive. So before we get further away here, this report pretty much covers a lot of the different lifestyles that we have brought on to ourselves, have accepted in our lives, that are creating tension, creating chronic tightness. And so when you work with me, whether it's from afar or you are here in Columbus, we address all those things. We get you balanced. We get you pointed in a direction to where maybe your next year you're more flexible than your previous year. Maybe your next year you are not measuring life on, oh, I got this old pain, arthritic. How's your day going? And then you start complaining about your hurts. You might think, man, I'm feeling pretty good. As a matter of fact, thanks for asking. I'm feeling great. Now, I'd love for people to answer that way, and I mean answer honestly, but I don't hear it that often, and I'd love to hear it more often. So I'm here to share with you one of the things that really made a huge impact. One of my favorite movies, and I know that it's a favorite movie of many people, a favorite movie of This Is Libby, my best friend, is the movie Lucy. And in this movie, one of my favorite voices, Morgan Freeman was talking to Scarlett Johansson, and she's a pretty good actress too. I love it when she's kicking butt. But anyway, she's like asking him, well, what should I do with all this information? And he's like, well, you know, the best thing you could possibly do is pass this information on. And that's where I'm here to take exactly his advice. Have Morgan Freeman in the back of my head, my auto talk, Morgan Freeman here, and to pass this information on. I mean, I've gained it. I've certainly attained a wonderful life by it. I've been pain-free. I do what I wanted. I have no restrictions. I'm very, very healthy, and it's time to pass this information on. It does me no good to hold it in, but I would love to have a world who's experiencing some of the same wellness symptoms that I'm experiencing, like pain-freeness, like energy available all the time. You don't have to go diving in for a cup of coffee. You don't have to go doing all the stimulant things that taking pharmaceuticals to get what's naturally you. Yeah, I love it. And I'll probably go back and watch that movie again because it also touches on our mental capacity, our capacity to be way more than who we currently think we are. And if we're locked step and locked tight and just being limited and just being, well, you know, everybody's getting old, that's just the way it is. No, it's not. It's just super popular. It's not about getting old. It's about figuring out, what have I done to create these conditions? Can I undo them so I can get to this new condition, this new effect? Change your cause, you'll love the effects. And it's real simple. It's real simple. We like to keep it simple. Health is simple. It really is. Getting unhealthy, that was a complicated thing. To become healthy, once you get there, it's simple. Whew. But it can be a stressor to your life. It can be a stressor to your mind if you're going to professionals and they're not giving you the answers and you're waiting 3 months for an appointment to go to the Cleveland Clinic just to tell them, oh, you got a tight neck and you can't move it anymore. That's not helping you. I mean, you need help today. You need help right now. And I'm here to provide some of that help. Number one, start breathing. Become more aware of your breath. Those that know about their breath know how to control their emotions. Did you realize that? Yeah, absolutely. If you are not conscious of your breathing, there's a lot of things you're not conscious of. And, well, it depends on what you want to spend your time doing. It really does. All right, so let me see here. I connected everything. Did I connect all the dots? I didn't really spend a whole lot of time about being balanced in the brain because I covered it before. We will cover that again in the near future because it is one of the most important things for all of us to obtain in our wellness venture is being able to live in a balanced, I'm going to call it pain-free life. It's so much more, I don't know, it's beautiful, it's beautiful. You're not going to see me go around doing cartwheels and jumping jacks and, pom-poms about being well, but this is the way I celebrate it. All right, here at TalkTainRadio.com. The world's greatest radio. That's radio the way it should be heard.
You've got the power. The world's greatest radio. TalkTainRadio.com.